Hi, this is Don McAllister and welcome to another edition of Screencasts Online. It's no secret, but my favourite web browser is Arc by the Browser Company. I covered it back in June last year, followed up with a short tip video in July. Since then, the browser has been improved and refined, and more recently has been boosted by the addition of some AI-related technology. Within the past month, they've also released an iOS app called Arc Search, which is a fresh new take on how we search for information on the internet. However, in this show, I'm just going to cover some of the new features in Arc on the Mac, and I'll take a look at Arc Search on iOS in the near future. If you want to remind yourself of the basic features of Arc, I'd suggest revisiting episode 1267, although this episode should give you more than enough information to become proficient in using Arc. Let's start by taking a look at the latest version of Arc for the Mac. Let's cover some of the basics first before I start bombarding you with some of the new features since I last covered Arc. Now, Arc is a fully featured web browser built on the Chromium engine, and as such, it will support all of the available Google Chrome extensions, including such things as 1Password. Now, when I last covered it, it was invite only, but now it's fully available for anyone to download and install. The main differentiator with Arc is that it displays tabs in a sidebar rather than across the top of the window like Safari or Chrome. And this makes it so much easier to organize, manage, and access tabs. Now, it also uses the concept of spaces to help you organize your tabs into common groupings. In the previous episode, I created a number of spaces such as work and personal stuff, and I can quickly jump straight to them with Control 1 or Control 2, or cycle between them using the Option, Command, left and right arrows. Or I can click on the icons at the bottom of the space. If we look in settings, you can see that there is also the concept of profiles to separate your browsing data, such as history, logins or cookies, etc. And for instance, you might want to keep your browsing history completely separate from when you're in work mode compared to personal mode. In which case, you can set up separate profiles, but I personally haven't gone down that route, so I'll not be covering profiles today. So let's take a look at some of the new features. Some are minor improvements and others are huge. But I should really point out that it's impossible for me to cover every update since July last year. They do tend to release new features pretty much on a weekly basis. I've just gone across to one of my favorites here for the Screencast Online website, and let's take a look at the user interface. Now, by default, the URL and the toolbar and all the different tools for navigation and for settings are normally above the sidebar here. Now, more traditionally, you would tend to find it across this main window, and you can switch that on. All you need to do is do Shift-Command-D, and that will toggle a toolbar now across your main window. By default, it will just show you a truncated version of the URL here, but if you wanted to, you can go back to Settings, and if you then go to Advanced, there's an option to show the full URL when the toolbar is enabled, but I'll leave that off for now. I've just paused the video and done a little bit of web browsing because I wanted to show you what you can do with these tools up here in the top corner. So these are standard go back buttons or go forward buttons. But what you can do, if you right click, you can actually see your history of where you've been in this particular session. Or if you do a long press, you get the same. So you can actually jump straight to a website that you've previously visited, or just use them as normal back buttons and forward buttons to navigate around your local browsing session. Obviously, we have a refresh button here. That will just refresh the page for you. In the middle of the toolbar, we have this option here, which will allow you to copy the link. As I hover over, you'll see I can use Shift-Command-C, but if I just click on there, that will actually copy the current URL, and over here, I can share it just by clicking on this share button. If you want to navigate to a different URL, you can actually click on the URL here. This opens the command bar, which is the same as doing a Command L, and that allows you either to type in another URL that you want to navigate to, or to select any of the other options that are available within the command bar. Now, this is slightly different. If you do a Command T, that will actually create a new tab. It will open the same panel up, but you'll see, in fact, let me do that. If I do a Command T, you'll see we get this new tab here. Whereas if I go back to the Tivoli Hall, let me just hit Escape and click on here. You'll see it doesn't actually open a new tab. So it will open a new URL within this tab. So let's just type in something else. There we go. So that tab has now jumped to Apple. That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from Screencasts Online. Screencasts Online is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS-related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only Screencasts Online Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital Screencasts Online monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit screencastsonline.com today and become a Screencasts Online member.